Hi, today we're going to talk about Flyhawk's 1700th HMS Hermes as she was in 1937 for the Coronation Fleet Review. Don't forget to subscribe, and there's 60 odd high resolution photos on the website. Right, so let's have a look at this. First off, I know this is going to be a good kit for two reasons. One, if you look on the website, you'll see we've already done a review of a previous boxing of this kit, and the kit is pretty neat. And second, that previous boxing of this kit won an award at the Nuremberg Toy Fair earlier this year. So it's not just me that thinks it's a pretty damn good kit. So, as you can see, this is HMS Hermes in 1937 at the Spitzhead Coronation Fleet Review. So basically it's the same ship with lots of flags. And that's probably going to be most of the difference, or extending on the ship. But also this time, obviously there's going to be quite the decal sheet for all those flags. As a bonus, we get some Ushi van der Osten rigging, which is pretty neat stuff. It's nice and stretchy. And we get some bonus aircraft as well. If you're going to do it, Hermes, at the actual fleet review, you don't need the aircraft because there weren't any aircraft on deck during review. Ironically, the two boxings of the aircraft carrier so far, this one and the earlier one from when she was sunk in the Indian Ocean, neither times did she have any aircraft on board. So it's kind of ironic, but there you go. So let's have a look. Side of the box, we've got a picture of HMS Campbelltown, which also we have reviews of on the website. Another HMS Penelope, layout of list of sprues and icons. I'll turn that right around. Sprues and different parts in there. So let's have a look inside. Inside we have, there's obviously a compartment here. Pretty thick cardboard, actually, thicker than usual, thicker than normal. Which is seen that in a few kits lately. Model Collect do a similar thing. It's a nice move. It protects the box even more, and protects the contents even more. So inside we have two instruction sheets, one for the aircraft, one for the ship herself. I'll go over those in more details once we've been through the parts. What I'll do is go through the parts now and just see what's in here, see how it's all packaged, have a close-up look at some of the parts, and then we'll go through the instructions and have a more in-depth close-up look at the parts as we go through. So as you can see, there's cardboard of the top of the box. Looks pretty neat. On the back it's the usual a short bit of information about the Hermes and her general characteristics, just under 11,000 ton standard displacement and so on. Then we have photo etch, and there's the Ushi van der Osten rigging. So photo etch sheet, crane. These parts here are all for the aircraft. So I'll go through those in more detail. Then we got one. Everything looks to be individually wrapped. 5 individually wrapped sprues. The main hull, top and bottom is here. This can be a waterline and a full hull ship. Metal bar for weight in case you want to make it waterline. Here is, I'll open this up in a second. That's the decal sheet, and now this looks neat. If I do this, the deck and the base for the waterline version are slotted into this piece of card, so they can't bend. Now that is a neat little trick. And in this side we have, it looks like the island, more small parts. All the small parts are in here, and these two are the aircraft. These parts are the small parts, and they've got the usual thing that Flyhawk are doing for delicate pieces, is the sprues are built up at the edges to protect them. Anyway, I'm going to I'll take all these bits out the bag and I'll be back in a second. Okay, so I think I've got mostly everything out the bags now. So let's have a start with looking at the aircraft. We've got some reviews of these aircraft on our website, so there's more videos about these. Basically, they go together very nicely. They're rather nicely detailed. They look really good when they're done. They're as good as anything else that's out there, better than most, and as good as the best, in my opinion. Nicely detailed. Here's one you can see it. I'll put another photograph up. Here's one I put together a little while ago. So these, if you want to use them for this or for something else, they'd look rather nice. So basically you get 2 sprues of each. I mean, this is a 1/700th aircraft made up of, what's this? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 parts. And I think the swordfish is a few more parts. And also some of these parts are can be replaced by photo etch as well. So that's the sort of level of detail. They're not the usual 3 or 4 pieces and you're done. Now let's have a look at, these 2 pieces that were on that white card to stop them bending. You can see they're quite flexible and nice and thin, obviously, since they are so flexible, hence the reason for the card. It's nice detail, raised detail under here. There's more photo etch to go underneath here as well, and I can feel there's detail on the deck as well. And hopefully I'll remember to run this across the screen at the top there while I'm talking. So that's nice. This one here is the main deck, which fits inside of the hull. Somewhat like this. It's not going to fit quite flush right now because there's still sprues in the way. But that all goes in quite nicely. Lots of detail inside the hangar. This is the main hull. I'll run this across the top as well. Nice porthole detail. I can make out the individual plates on the ship's side. Yeah, this is rather nicely detailed, recessed hole for the anchors. Yeah, those are rather nice. Well, that is rather nice. And then the bottom of the hull, if you want to do a full hull ship. And again, nicely detailed. I can see plating on the side here, strakes on the bottom. So that's done quite nicely. So now, what else did we have? We have, these are, was it on the side of the hull, basically where some of the guns go, and on the same level as the main deck, as the hangar, sorry. So there's details on there as well. There's lots of nice detail. There's a lot of fine detail on these things. I keep saying the word detail a lot, but there is a lot of fine detail on here. Ejector pin marks are on the bottom where nobody's ever going to see them. Let's go through the bigger sprues now. This one seems to have rafts, ship's boats, and some smaller parts, some seriously small parts. Ship's boats have quite a bit of nice detail in them. I'll stick a picture up the top so you can just see that. There's actually 3 sprues here, 15 and 19 and sprue S by the looks of it, all joined together into one thing. This one, ship's crane I see there, which I know can be replaced by photo etch, masts, and lots of fine detail. This plate, I'm not sure, that goes on the main deck, on the flight deck. Is you can see there's holes in it, very small holes. That looks very good. And this one, it's like a part of the island there, perhaps. Not too sure what these are yet. And this one, they're propellers, like perhaps a piece of railing there. Just nice small parts, finely detailed. Ejector pins seem to be on the back here on the main screws themselves rather than parts. So lots of fine parts there. Two screws here which are contain the rafts. Well, they're not identical as I thought they were. One contains GBO6's rafts, GBO3 looks like deck guns actually. But again, small parts. And this one, GB01 and 02, more really for small parts, searchlights. So there's small bits there. This is part of the flight deck. Here's the main part of the island. I'll take a photo at the top, it's easy to see. But on that I can see there is the portholes and lots of detail on the side, raised and recessed detail. It's not just one big flat thing. So some thin coats of paint, otherwise you'll lose some of that detail. And here we have some smaller screws with smaller parts. There's the funnel, as you can see, but it's hollow almost all the way through. Again with detail on it. Looks nice. Well, lots of small parts, and the bigger parts have small details on them. Portholes can be seen throughout, or the recessed portholes. They're not actually holes where the portholes are; they're just recessed. So, all in all, that lots of small parts. Like I said, lots of really nice detail on this. Let's have a quick look at that. Here's the Decal sheet. Slide these out of the way and I'll quickly open this up. Okay, there's your Decal sheet. I'll stick a bigger one at the top of the screen. Union Jack, Royal Navy ensign, decals for the aircraft. In fact, there's two more Royal Navy ensigns up there. And then there's 20, 30, 46 signal flags to go on the rigging. And obviously the decals for the flight deck, which is all pretty much one thing. Just a couple of pieces that are separate. Right, and let's have a quick look at the instructions. I'll go through these in more detail. See here, it's basically the same build sequence as the first one, so no surprises. The only bit you need to watch out for is in the first step, there's two parts that you need to put in the right order, and then it just follows on. Color things are in color where needed. Shows you the photo etch replacement, shows you where the photo etch goes. Nice little diagrams to sort of build sub-assemblies or fold photo etch sub-assemblies before you fit them. Like I said, use colour to make things stand out and so you don't get confused. That all looks really neat. Down to the bottom, colour calls out Mr. Hobby, Tamiya, white ensign, which are tough to find these days. I know the latest ships that Flyhawk didn't have the white ensign colour callouts in them, which makes sense. Obviously this is an earlier sheet, so that's why it's still on this one. Oh, and there's a full list of the order, all the flags going. So that would be a session in its own. Looks like there's about 40 odd of them to go there. So that's pretty neat. And the one for the aircraft. There's a hint at the top about decals. About the deck decals. There's sometimes you can cut it into a couple of pieces to make it easier to deal with. But nothing on the back. Top half is fairy swordfish. You've got 4 of those, 2 walruses. Colour callouts at the bottom. So overall, it's a very nice kit. It's won a medal, so at the moment it's the best HMS Hermes out on the market. Instructions are really clear. Lots of small parts, but they're highly detailed. Basically, it's the best out there at the moment and well worth you spending your money on. Many thanks to Flyhawk for sending along the kit for review, and don't forget to subscribe to the video channel. Thanks a lot.